All right, on this episode of the LPDS, we get into dealing with the little voices in our heads that make us lazy, how to respond to it, how to overcome it, and understand that everybody has them in there. So, good lessons in this one. We also got some current events and pretty good cage facts. So, all that's coming up right now. All right, Jabronis, we're back. Welcome back to the Libretti Podcast Diary Show. I'm your host, Libretti. This is the show that talks about nothing and finds the lessons in everything. And let me tell you something. Today, we're finding lessons. Hope everybody had a good week. Mine was very uneventful, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I got back from the motherland, Jersey, from my trip. That was a brutally boring drive. So much so I didn't even want to bother you with another Ask Me Anything segment. I just wanted to sit in silence and drive and finish that stupid thing off, knowing that I'm going to be doing it again come holiday time. So, I got to mentally prepare for that. So expect some more, Ask Me Anything segments when I do that again at the end of November, December timeframe, because otherwise me and Randy might drive off a cliff if we have to deal with that drive again. By ourselves. So anyway, didn't do much else this weekend besides work and business stuff and all that. How you doing? So I hope your guys' weeks were, slightly more eventful in a positive manner than mine. But if not, that's okay too. We power through together. I'm looking through my notes here. Got some current events that I debate talking about all the time because they get me riled up. I'll mention them so we can just, move forward amicably. Dinosaur Dianne Feinstein, the Senate. Is she a senator or a congresswoman? I don't know. Government lady, passed away at 90 years old. Obviously, that's sad for the family. You don't want to lose a loved one, and it's a human being we're talking about here. So I'm not going to go in. I'm certainly not going to go in on her for anything in that regard. But I wanted to make mention of what another sad aspect of this. Really quick. Again, I'm not going to get on a soapbox here. It's just something to be mindful of, especially with this government shutdown nonsense that was going on this past week. I'll get into that in a little bit too. But this lady was 90 years old. Okay. And the day she passed away, that morning, she was at the Capitol working before leaving early at lunchtime or whatever, and doing whatever she had to do. 90 years old, working literally till the day she died as a government employee. If that doesn't sound like the saddest, most miserable existence you can possibly have, I don't know what does. I guess you can argue poverty, being a homeless bum, whatever. But choosing, this is the key here, choosing to live that life and work for the government till the literal day you die, the moment you die almost, is the saddest thing I can possibly imagine from a human being who has not only a roof over their heads, millions of dollars in the bank, likely a full family of kids and grandkids and maybe even great-grandkids. And even after she had her initial health crisis that kept her, bedridden for months on end, even over a year, I think. It was a long time. Chooses to go back. That is a sad state of affairs. And we've talked about this in the past. I've mentioned this before, but it's something I think about on a regular basis. I will never be on my deathbed, and I don't think anybody with half a brain would ever be on their deathbed saying to themselves, man, I wish I spent more time working and less time with family and enjoying life and making the most of our short time on earth. This lady lived to be 15 plus years over the national average of a human's lifespan in this country. I think it's like between 75 and 78 or something like that. I don't remember exactly. So for over a decade, she was practically playing with house money. And she chose to be a congresswoman or senator or whatever she was, to leech off of the taxpayer teat and to work to the literal day she left this earth, that her soul left her body. And where was her family telling her, hey, stop this? Your political party is clearly using you to keep power in that seat so it doesn't go to the other team, because that's what they like to do. But we're going to take care of you as a human, and we're pulling you out. You got to stop. You got to retire, take care of yourself, spend time with your family, enjoy your remaining time here on Earth. No, gone. Nothing. She gave over power of attorney for her life's decisions of her own existence to her daughter, but then made it clear that she was still going to make the voting decisions for her seat at Capitol Hill. That's sad, guys. That power and money and influence and the corrupt, despicable existence that politicians have created for themselves these days, it sucked her in so much that she couldn't let go until her last breath. Now, I saw memes out in the internet, the Matrix there, joking about how people will still vote for her. It's still not going to affect the vote when her reelection comes up, or how the Democrats are, because I believe she was a Democrat. That's the reason I say that. How they're gonna keep her skeleton in there or whatever. Like, it was stupid jokes. Some were funny, most were stupid. But the fact that people are making jokes like that shows that we are well aware of the state of affairs that we got going on in our government. It's just, it's tough to be a part of these days. And speaking of which, rest in power, Dianne Feinstein. It sucks for her family that it ended, 90 years old, and she chose to stay in Capitol Hill as opposed to spending time with her family. Tough. But as we move along in current events, I don't want to keep talking about this. They had the looming government shutdown going on again this past week. Now, if you're not familiar, basically, and I'm not terribly familiar with all the ins and outs in this, but basically the House and Senate need to pass a budget by a certain deadline, by the end of the fiscal year, or the government shuts down, which means any government official doesn't get paid. Anybody who works a government contracting job basically won't really get paid because their paycheck comes from the government, essentially, from the government customers. The military still has to work and do their job, but they get back pay. They don't. Their paychecks stop until they pass a budget or come up with a continuing resolution. That's basically what happens. If the quote-unquote adults in Capitol Hill can't pass a simple budget and agree on stuff like adults, the government shuts down. Okay? People don't get paid. They can't. Some go to work, some get furloughed, and you don't work until we're back up and running again. Because these people can't figure it out. They're so ingrained and anchored into their political, chess moves that they got to make and the high school drama that they created that this is what happens. So I'm not jaded one bit whatsoever by this, clearly. But that was going on this past week. And then I guess one team of children was trying to push a last-minute vote, sneaking in their own political shit inside the bill to pass this budget. So the other team caught wind of that, and they decided to have a guy pull the fire alarm to delay the vote so that they could get enough people there to push back and do their old mumbo jumbo. So this politician that we voted in pulled the fire alarm to get people out of the building to delay the tactics of the other group of children to pass this vote, which is a felony offense, by the way. You can't just pull a fire alarm in a government building on purpose for no reason like that. They claim it was an accident, but there was video footage showing him walking up to it and pulling on it purposely. So I don't know what he thought it was, a doorbell or something. I don't know. But this is what we're dealing with. This is the bottom line. These are the people we vote for. So when it comes time for re-elections and things like that, let's maybe for once in our lives not just blindly vote for the team we were told to root for and vote for blindly. I say that twice because that's what we've been doing for so long now. And put some thought into who we're appointing to these positions. Because the people, the morally bankrupt, incapable idiots currently running the clown show right now are doing a terrible job, and it's absolutely embarrassing. There's maybe a half a qualified person in the entire Capitol Hill in DC right now. It's absolutely a joke, but I don't want to talk about that anymore. I want to talk about something that's way more important to our lives right now. Okay, so we're going to move along. There's a show out there. I don't remember the name of it. I think it's called like Special Forces or some crap like that. It's a show where non-military members, celebrities, I say that term loosely, are put through Special Forces military training style tests and exercises and challenges to get through. And then I guess whoever wins the most wins. It's like a Survivor, except or Fear Factor combined. But it's military Special Forces training. I guess there's a bunch of ex-Special Forces instructors and trainers as the people on the show running the thing. And then it's a bunch of D-list Hollywood celebrities doing it. Now, I was interested when I first heard the show was happening because this is right up my alley to try out for. Not to watch. I don't watch this crap. But I would definitely try out for this. Not that I'd be any good, but imagine they put this out for just like Fear Factor, except it's all tough obstacle courses, not eating bugs and horse seam. It's tough obstacle courses, bungeeing around, doing this, doing that, pretending to be a cool guy. That's right up my alley. Pretending to be a cool guy. So when I first heard about that show, I was like, man, I got to apply. I got to get my training video ready and prepped. I got to start eating raw eggs and pretending I'm a tough guy, wear, my flak jacket and go for it. But then I found out it's for celebrities. And the worst celebrities at that. The ones nobody wants to see anymore. They've been shunned. We got the American people got what they want out of them, and they're gone. Nobody wants to deal with these people anymore. How they got on this show is mind-boggling to me. Nobody wants to see them. And I know Hollywood is probably thinking like, oh, these guys are going to suck at these challenges. It's going to be funny to watch Tara Reid and Joey Vanderpump or whatever that creepo's name is from Vanderpump Rules go pretend to try to be cool guys or whatever. No, the answer is no. Nobody wants to see that. We are done with these people. They sucked on screen doing something simple. All they had to do was read from a script, and they couldn't do that well enough to stay relevant. So now we're going to put them to the test and actually test their physical capabilities? Come on. Nobody wants to see Tara Reid's leather skin ass bungee jumping down a dam. I don't even know who this Joey Vanderpump guy is. All I know about him is that he cheated on his wife with her best friend while they were in the same house together, practically living with each other. Why are we rewarding this guy with a show and money and viewership and ratings and relevance when he's out there sleeping around, being unfaithful? I want to find out who the producer of this show is, probably some jerk off, and write to them and be like, hey, put regulars on. What a good story that would be is if some Joe Brony like me, Joe McNutsack, signs up and actually wins some prize money, gets some viewership. People like to see a wholesome story of a bald, big-nosed idiot who came from nothing, and now he's out there bungeeing off of some dams and winning money for his family and his dog. Putting food on the table for them. Getting eyeballs on his life. And you fill the whole show up with a bunch of idiots like me out there and let us compete. So that got me all fired up for some reason. I don't even know why I'm talking about it. I guess the show's already out and they're showing episodes or whatever. I don't even want to watch it because it should have been me out there. Maybe I will write to them. I got nothing else going on. Maybe I'll write to them and be like, listen, stop it with this. Nobody wants to see. Tara Reid hasn't been relevant since like 2010. When did Van Wilder come out? That was literally the last movie she did that anybody gave a shit about. Sharknado was a joke. Don't say Sharknado was one of them. Nobody watched that movie. Nobody. Not even Tara Reid wanted to watch it afterwards. It was such garbage. Give other people a chance now to shine and give you ratings. Anyway, what else we got? Speaking of TV, I don't know if I have a bone to pick with Derek Jeter on this one. Probably more so Jeep because they're going right down the tubes these days. But there was a Jeep Wagoneer commercial that Derek Jeter was in because he's the official. What is the term? Not pitch man. He's the face of Jeep right now, the Jeep Wagoneer series. You know what I'm talking about. Damn it, I forgot. Anyway, he was in this commercial. I'm gonna paint the picture for you here. He was supposed to be flying home to his family, and they cut to his wife and two kids in their giant kitchen. Tremendous looking kitchen, by the way. And he's somewhere else. Don't know how far away exactly, but he's supposed to be flying back. He's in a hangar for a private airplane. So this is one of those one of those areas of an airport where the Richies go to fly out of, which is fine. Derek Jeter's a Richie. We all know it. So he's flying a private jet, and it's pouring rain outside, and they cancel all the flights. Sorry, Jeets. We're canceling the flights tonight, so you're not going to be able to make it home until the rain stops. this is where the disconnect happens for me anyway. Maybe I'm the idiot. I don't know. That's why I'm painting the picture for you. You guys can decide. So Jeets decides to take matters into his own hands like he usually does, which is fine. And he gets a car. He gets a Jeep, gets into his Jeep Wagoneer, drives through the night into the next day. So he ends up back home to his giant, awesome house. Maybe it's in Florida, I guess. And his wife and kids greet him outside and hug him, and everybody's hunky-dory and happy. And they say, go buy a Wagoneer. This is what will happen with your life if you buy a Wagoneer. My problems start when the flights get canceled for rain, which is normal. Anybody with any sort of aviation wherewithal knows that if it's bad storms out and the flying conditions don't meet threshold, you can't fly. Got it. He gets immediately into his Jeep Wagoneer. Now, it's already in the hangar. Why is it in the hangar? Did somebody drive it in there for him? Very strange. You don't usually just drive your personal vehicle into an airplane hangar. B, if it's his personal car, why is it there in the first place? Why did he need a flight home if his car was already there? Was he close enough to just drive home to begin with? C, I should have done the Home Alone A to D, but whatever. I missed the opportunity. C, if Derek Jeter needs to travel in the middle of the night by road, he's going to call a driver, okay? He's not going to drive by himself through the night. That's ludicrous for any successful, super rich human being in America. They're not doing that, okay? Jeter's getting a driver. All right? What are we on? D? D, did he rent the car? Did he call like Uber and then fire the driver immediately? Did he buy the car immediately, like right on the spot? Hey, I need to get home now. I'm buying this car. It's my car now. If he rented it, he just drove all the way to a different state. Is he gonna drop it off at a different location? Is he gonna pay the extra fees for the out-of-state drop-off? E, if he was that far away where he's driving all night, he drove through the night, through the storm, to the next day where it was eventually sunny and 70 out, why wouldn't he just get a hotel room and fly out of his private jet immediately the next morning and be there still probably earlier than he would have if he, then driving, on that stupid Wagoneer? So I don't necessarily know. This is the lesson here. This is the question I have. I don't know what the marketing scheme was. I don't know what the message was. What they were trying to get at was like, Wagoneer is reliable. It'll get you to where you need to go when you need to get there. I don't know. Because if that's the case, there are 1,000 different other scenarios that would have made more sense. And I know you're trying to mix in Derek Jeter into the mix because he's your pitch man. He's the face of Wagoneer right now. Got it. But there are still dozens of other storylines you could have used that made more sense and more relatable to people who are going to be buying your stupid Wagoneer. Not to mention the fact that Jeep is going right down the tubes, like I mentioned before, I think. And their cars suck these days. So realistically speaking, people are not going to be getting Jeeps to go cross-country trips late into the night in storms like that anymore. Certainly not Derek Jeter driving by himself without a posse around with him. That's also ludicrous. So now I got a bone to pick with Jeep, I guess. And add them to the list. I don't have anything else to say about that. There's no message. There's just me bitching about a stupid commercial and how I think myself and many others here in the LPDS universe can come up with way better marketing ideas and advertisement ideas than these Magoos have been coming out with lately. And that's all I have to say about that. No more current events. That's it. We're done with the current events. Jeter, back a new horse. Back a better horse. Jeep stinks. They're not utilizing you well. It's like the Yankees forcing Volpe to be a shortstop. It's not going to work out. And Jeter, you're a smart guy. I know you're listening to this. You and your super hot wife and your immaculate family and your giant house and kitchen. Back a better horse. You can find a better car. You can get with Elon Musk, get the new Cybertruck whenever that decides to come out. You can go with Land Rover, Toyota. Imagine Jeets in an off-road Tundra. That would be so bitchin'. I'd buy one in a heartbeat. Because A, Toyota is mega reliable. That car saved my life. And it'll last you forever. And B, it's Derek Jeter, the captain, the guy. And then also Toyota would put out a better commercial and utilize their talent better. They're wasting it. They're making Jeter look like a fool. Hey, Derek, why would you drive all through the night by yourself like that when you can just wait a few hours for the storm to pass, get on your private jet, and sleep on the flight home and get back early in the morning to greet your super hot wife and perfect family? I know Jeter's better than that, but it makes him look like a stupid idiot. And he's not an idiot. He should have never agreed to that. But I'm sure he squeezed them for a good piece of change, which might be counterintuitive because they think they're going to get more people buying Wagoneers and Jeeps because Derek Jeter is backing their product. But in reality, they're just spending every last dollar they have on the captain, and they're going to go out of business soon, hopefully. Or they're going to turn around and figure shit out. Hire me to write their commercials for them because that was dog shit. Anyway, sorry, Terrence Family Show. That's all I got with current events. We'll finally get into the good stuff here. Well, we'll get into the better stuff here anyway, and we'll step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right. Today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Gerber Baby's Auto Feeding Breast. Are you a new parent and you're already sick and tired of having no life because you spend every waking second either pumping breast milk or feeding that ungrateful little spoon-faced baby you brought into the world? Well, now you could take a much-needed break by buying a Gerber's all-new baby auto feeder. Gerber will design a custom breast lookalike with an auto timer built in so that you can schedule the time to feed your baby on autopilot. That way you can sneak out for a quick girls' night out at the local Chippendales. So if you want to shirk your responsibilities and not be a good parent to that stupid burden you chose to bring into this world, visit www.bareminimum.com and use a promo code LazyGoodForNothingParent for 29% off your first Gerber Auto Breast. Who's buying this stuff? Honestly, somebody. Anyway, the Cage fact. This is more of a Cage call-out, if you will. Not calling out Nic Cage. That's ludicrous. But I was doing my normal Nic Cage, daily education research, keeping tabs on the great one. And this jabroni, I'm going to butcher his name, not that I care that much, Joe Ornelius. It's either Ornelius or Ornelas of MSN's Collider online magazine. I don't know if it's a magazine or a blog or whatever. Wrote this blog article this past week. Within the last couple of days, he wrote this about the movie Nic Cage did in 2014 called Left Behind. Now, Ornelius tried to go into this diatribe bashing the movie for pushing, religious propaganda, and that it was terribly done and a big miss and an embarrassment to the filmmakers trying to push their propaganda, thinking that they accomplished, some great religious message or whatever. The big miss here, folks, is that Joe Ornelius wrote an article 10 years after a movie came out because clearly the guy has nothing else going on in his life and is probably barely hanging on by a thread to keep his job. So he's got to find anything he can to push some narrative for this rag of a website. I don't even know what it is. It's called The Collider. It's trash. I read some other articles. It is people who want to pretend that they're big J journalists, but all they do is write slop about nothing. And I'm calling out because he's trying to drag the great one into the mud with him, and we're not going to stand for it. So while this might not be a Cage fact, the fact of the matter is we're on to you, Joe Ornelius. Okay? And if you think you're going to pull Nic Cage down to push your own agenda and to make your paycheck, you got another thing coming, pal. Because we got a whole universe of people here that are going to push back even harder. Now, I believe I've discussed the movie Left Behind at least a little bit in the past. It was during Nic Cage's string of terror, if you will, in the cinema universe, where he was making a lot of bad movies. He was not bad in them. The movies were bad. Left Behind is one of them. It was about some sort of like apocalypse sort of thing, like a religious, what is the term that the religious people use? Not really an apocalypse. Damn, what do they call it? Rapture. Religious rapture, which is like an apocalypse, but brought down by the big man upstairs himself, the man in red, a rapture. It's about that, and like Nic Cage is there to do his thing, save the day or whatever. He plays a tremendous part. The movie's hot trash. But we're talking about a movie in 2014. We're trying to cancel a movie for pushing quote-unquote Christian propaganda from a movie nobody saw but me. I'm the only one who watched it up until this point, until this hack Joe Ornelius decides to chime in, trying to cancel Nic Cage. So I'm not saying you need to go do anything like comment and dox this guy, and we're not sending out the LPDS army here, but I just want to bring it to your attention, everybody else's attention, that if you try to mess with the great one, you're going to lose, okay? You are not just going to get away with it unscathed. We're here. The LPDS universe is here. We are the only people, this is the only show in the history of podcasts. There are 4+ million podcasts out there these days, okay? 4+ million. And we're the only show that provides Nic Cage updates and facts every week for years now. The only show. So if you think, Joe Ornelius, you're going to pull a fast one by us, you got another thing coming, pal. Okay? We live and breathe the great one. That's all I live for some days, is protecting that guy. And hopefully one day he'll know about it. Anyway, that's the Cage fact. That's it. It's just more of me bitching, protecting that guy and his reputation from hack no-name jabronis who wouldn't even make the Jabroni Junction. They're B-level jabronis. We're A-level here. Anyway, that's that. Moving on over to the Junction. We'll spin the logo up. We'll keep the train rolling here. I I don't really have a whole lot to talk about, and there's sort of a reason for that. Real quick, I did go bowling yesterday. The time of this recording, I went bowling yesterday. It was the first time in years that I went bowling. I love bowling, and for whatever reason, I know some reasons. I'm not going to get into it, but I haven't been bowling in years. There was people I was spending time with that didn't like bowling, and I simped and didn't go bowling a lot because of that, because I'm an idiot. But I went, and it was an absolute disaster, guys. I was embarrassed. I still won. I'm not going to not win. My grandfather, Big Al Scalingi, would never allow that. He was a top-tier bowler. He was in a bowling league after working at the factories all day. He would hit the alleys. He had a bunch of trophies. I talked about this in the past. But I went. It was embarrassing, but what it did was fuel my love of bowling again. And I know a lot of people don't like bowling. You associate it with like you're in a greasy, dirty alley with all the different types of trash around you, people and literal trash. You're sticking your fingies in these dirty, unknown, mysterious holes. You're wearing mysteriously dirty, disgusting shoes that other people put their God knows what hooves in there. So I understand a lot of people get, turned off by bowling. The food is usually trash. But here's the thing. First of all, I have my own bowling balls. All right? This is my first rodeo at the lanes. They're not brand new balls. They're not custom. I got them from a friend. But they're clean and they're ready to rock and roll. Second of all, I had my own shoes at one point. I can't find them right now, but I have my own shoes. So also clean. So if you think I'm succumbing to the dirtiness of the foot stuff, shame on you, because I wouldn't do that. Third of all, I am a trench guy. Okay, I've said this time and time again. I'm trash. This is not like a self-deprecation here. This is what I enjoy. I like being in the trenches, baby. I like being in the mud. I like mingling with that crowd so I can navigate my way through. It's entertaining. You learn about different things and aspects of life living in the trenches. You learn different survival tactics. You learn how other people are living their lives. Yeah, you can educate yourself and can learn and grow and improve that way. And I love living in the trenches. I'm a trench guy. I said it once. I said it 1,000 times. That's my speed right there. You give me a couple of dirty, disgusting mozzarella sticks, a greasy burger, and some fries that use bowling alley oil to cook them in, and I'm there, baby. All right? I'm hitting the lanes. I'll bowl all night long, living in that world. That's my speed. And all this stupid thing going out bowling last night, all this did was make me want to go more. And I know you might say, oh, well, Brady's despicable. Who would want to go bowling more after describing that crime scene, if you will? And sometimes it's been a crime scene at some of the lanes I've been to. But that's what it did. That's what I am, okay? If you had to describe me by a type of sport or hobby, weeknight bowling would be the sport you associate with Libretti. And I'm proud of that for all those reasons I described earlier. That's all I have to say about the bowling stuff. Anyway, I went bowling. I want to go bowling more. Stay tuned for more because I'm going to get better. I haven't broke 200 in bowling in a long time. So that's the next goal, is to be able to break 200 again. So I got to get back out there, get back on the lanes, work on my forearm strength so I can get the curvature right, practice on hitting those tough spares, closing out frames. That's the name of the game, closing out frames. If you leave open frames, you're setting yourself up for disaster and loss. You don't want to do that. Last night I had Almost every frame I had was an open frame, and it was tough for me. Like I said, I still won. I'm not a loser. But I was not happy with my own performance because it's been too long. So I got to get back out there. So stay tuned for more updates. Maybe I'll bring home a trophy one day. Maybe I'll join a bowling league in the trenches, and I'll show those bastards what's up. And then I'll bring home the gold to the LPDS universe so we can celebrate. So, anyway, there is not much to talk about today. And the reason for that is because I was a lazy shit. Okay? And this is why I'm talking about this on purpose. Okay? This is not me putting the camera on and deciding right now what I wanted to discuss with you guys. I had an absolute loss of a day today when I'm recording this. I had an opportunity to get a lot of stuff done at the house, the LPDS ranch. I have a lot of stuff I have to do. I have to do some stuff outside with my landscaping. There's some shrubbery that needs to be removed and cleaned out. I need to do some seeding in my yard to get ready for the fall and stuff. I need to get my guy out to look at some overhangs from my French doors so that the rainwater doesn't keep dropping into my door at the bottom because there's no overhang. It's tough to explain, but if you saw it, you'd understand. I got to get overhangs or awnings or something, gutters for the French doors around my yard. There's a lot of stuff I have to do outside. There's a lot of stuff I have to do inside. My garage gym is still not done yet. I still have boxes inside my house, living room, kitchen area that need to be unpacked and sorted out. I need to move stuff into my attic. I need to further insulate my attic. I need to do stuff for my business. Identify more prospects. Start making more phone calls. I need to vacuum. I need to keep the kitchen clean. I need to fix my garbage disposal, which broke recently. And I have the cheapest garbage disposal you can possibly buy on the market. It came with the house. The only reason I know that is because I looked it up. And pretty much it says on Google, when you look up this brand of garbage disposal, it's pretty much says, don't buy it. It's for suckers. It's a $10 garbage disposal because it gives you $10 worth of disposing. It's hot trash. So now I'm debating whether I want to get a replacement or if I want to just remove it and put a regular drain in there. I don't know what to do. So I got a lot of shit that I have to do and that I want to do around here. And I let my inner bitch get the best of me. And I sat on my stupid ass all day watching college football, scrolling through Instagrams, looking at all the inspirational profiles I follow, wondering when it's going to be my turn to be one of those inspirational guys. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there eating my bacon and eggs and a Portuguese muffin. By the way, real quick, on a positive note, if you guys are fans of English muffins, do yourself a favor, throw them in the garbage. All right? Go out to a store, go look on the internet, find a place that sells Portuguese muffins. Okay? Think of English muffins, that style. It's in that world, not like chocolate chip or blueberry muffins. Not one of those. Those are also delicious. But this is in the English muffin world, that brand, that sort of realm. Nooks and crannies, breakfast style, toast it up, put some butter or jelly on it, peanut butter, whatever you want to put on there. The Portuguese people created a superior muffin in this world and is absolutely not getting the recognition it deserves. Especially not down here in Texas, because I can't find them anywhere. I had to get my mother, Crazy Carol, had to help me smuggle some over the border from New Jersey down to here so I had some to enjoy with my breakfast. And I have to look on the internet to find out where else I can get them if I can, or if I have to keep stocking up when I'm up in Jersey. But the Portuguese muffin is not only bigger, it's got less nooks and crannies so that there's more substance to it. So it's a lot easier to spread butter on or jelly or whatever you put on there. I go with a thin layer of butter. Once I toast it, I put a thin layer of butter, let that melt real nice inside. It seeps in there like a sponge. All right. Then, and don't at me or call me out for being weird. This is not weird. This is delicious. I put a thin layer of peanut butter on top of that. All right. And then I put a little bit of jelly on top of that. And I smush them together. I have a little breakfast PB&J on this delicious breakfast style muffin. And I'm good to go with my eggs, my bacon. I have fruit on the side, a little blueberry, some raspberry, strawberry. I'll throw a couple of blueberries to Randy. And then I'm off to the races with a hot cup of coffee as well. Get yourself the Portuguese muffins. They're bigger. They're easier to spread stuff on. They taste so much better. They have it dialed in. English muffins are hot trash now to me. I may never buy English muffins ever again. Ever again. And I did even find some authentic, original English muffins, not like Thomas's English muffins, which have been the most popular in America, but have been tricking us into thinking they were the premier breakfast muffin. They're not. I mean, good for you, Thomas, for tricking us all and making buku bucks on it. But there are much better English muffins out there. And now that I've identified that there's even something more superior, that's it. English muffins are dead to me. And this is a ringing endorsement, folks. I don't take this stuff lightly. Like I said, I got not much else to live for some days. And that's not a depressing, like I'm not testing my shoelace strength or anything like that. I'm fine. I love my life. I'm happy. Everything's great. But some days I live for having a good breakfast, finding the perfect breakfast combination for me. And the Portuguese muffin did it. So this is a ringing endorsement. I can't recommend this higher than anything else. This is my most ringing, highest endorsement I can give to a breakfast muffin, the Portuguese muffin. Go try it out. Anyway, as I was saying before, I sat there like a bum all day, looking at other people be successful on the internet, wondering when it's going to be my turn, and choosing to let my inner bitch, the little voices in my head, just kept saying, the stuff is going to be there. You have so much stuff to do. Where do you even begin? You want to watch this football game. You want to watch Deion Sanders in Colorado. Maybe the Notre Dame game is on down here. Watch some Barstool sports advisors shows and whatever. You had a tough week. You earned it. You can do this. And I let the little voices of the inner bitch inside me get the best of me. And I sat just about all day and did absolutely nothing. And my lazy bumness transferred over to poor Randy because that poor little bastard ended up doing nothing too. I took him out a few times to throw the ball a little bit, get some sun, but that was about it. And this is not I was a bum and then a light bulb went off in my head and I decided to get after it and kick some ass in life. And this goes to show you can do it too. This is not a life coach inspirational speech here. I'm telling you all this to tell you that every one of us in life goes through shit like this. We all have the little voices in our heads telling us to do certain things. The bitch inside me tries to tell me and convince me to be lazy and do nothing with my days. That's my voice in my head. One of them, anyway. So I know you guys have voices in your head, and I know you see people when they get behind the screen or in front of a camera or their phone, and they're posting content on the internets, and they're more successful and popular than me on the internets. I'm not trying to lump myself in there with the people who have millions of followers just yet. But most of you've seen these people. They're out there. They're telling you to get after it. Be like me. I used to be down in the dumps, but then I figured it out, and you could do it too. Or my relationship is perfect. Or everything about my day is happy. I'm going to show you all these pictures of me going to apple picking and haunted housery and all this other fun, cool shit. My life's awesome. Behind the camera, those people get bulldozed by the little bitch inside their head on a regular basis, just like everybody else. All right? And I'm telling you this because sometimes we are too self-conscious or insecure to admit to this stuff. Okay? And now I've had conversations with people a lot over the past several months about the type of content I should be putting out there for my business, for Spearhead Leadership. And I'm sure most of you who are listening to this or watching this, I mean, the majority of you are friends and family, if not all of you. So you've probably seen my Instagrams and Facebooks and stuff. So you see what I've been putting out there for the business stuff. And I've had a lot of conversations with people, and a lot of people are telling, don't be self-deprecating. Don't let people see your weaknesses. You have to exude confidence and show value and this and that. And I absolutely agree with part of it. You want to show value. If you're putting content out there on the internets for your business, this is business related here. Not if you're doing for personal reasons, you think something's fun and you're having a good time, you want to post a silly video, whatever. That's cool. I like those. Those are entertaining. But for my business, I want to put out stuff that has value to you. And that's why I do a lot of times I'll ask people what they want to hear about on the leadership side, and then I can make a video about it for you guys that hopefully helps you out in your daily lives. That's what I'm trying to do with my social media content and marketing, is put out clips and videos that help you guys out in some way, shape, or form. Maybe educate you on something, reveal a leadership principle you didn't otherwise know about, whatever it may be. That's what I want to do. I want to make some people better through my content. And I want to do minimal soliciting for come sign up, come get on a call, whatever, I try to do, minimal videos on that if I can avoid it. I just want to put out some value out there. And then hopefully the goal is people see this and then they start inquiring, like, where can I get more of this shit? Let me look at the dude's website. Let me call him up, whatever it is. I try not to do a lot of just, hey, here's a little nugget, but you can get the rest if you call here and sign up for all this bullshit. I'm not trying to do that. So I do want to put out value. Long story longer, I want to put out value. But I also know that people can see through bullshit, and that people need to relate in some way, shape, or form to those that they're looking at on social media. That's how a lot of those super popular influencer types or mentors or whatever you call some of those folks, like the Tony Robbins types, Gary V, love Gary V, Jocko Willink, love Jocko too, love Tony Robbins, love those types of guys. For as successful and wealthy as they are, and how they all basically now live in a different existence altogether from us because they're so rich and successful and their lives are just so different from ours now, they're still relatable. And whether they're just really good actors on screen when they're making content or not, they're relatable. Gary V was an immigrant family in New Jersey, and he started making videos for his dad's wine store. And he eventually pushed the movement of online wine sales and all this other stuff just by putting out content of value to people and being his real self. I'm a poor dude helping out my father. Here's some good shit about wine. And Jocko Willink relates to me, certainly on the military side, because everything he talks about, he relates to specific experience he's dealt with in combat, mistakes he's made as a leader, loss he's dealt with, people, problems he's dealt with. So he's putting out value, but he's being relatable. Tony Robbins is a mega millionaire now, but he constantly talks about how he got there and where he came from, and he opens himself up, and he's vulnerable, and he's relatable. Okay? Now, why am I saying this? Because I want to put this stuff out there to let you guys know in the LPDS universe, and if anybody else sees this stuff, that I'm not some clown who's going to pretend everything's hunky-dory all the time, because it's not. And you guys know that, and you see right through the bullshit if people try to do that. You know there's people out there, we can all point to their Instagram profiles or TikToks or whatever, that you know this person sounds like a snake oil salesman because everything just happens to be great in their lives. Bullshit. So I have no problem admitting that I let my inner bitch beat me today. Absolutely got the best of me. If this was a 12-round fight, I'm out in round 2. Rocky 3, Clubber Lang, first fight, I'm out. I'm knocked out, and I have to go back to the locker room with my tail between my legs to watch my trainer die. Tough scene. And I guess the lesson here, the message here, is that I get it. I understand that you guys are also dealing with this stuff, and it's tough. And I had a whole episode about how to accomplish your goals when you lack the motivation, and how to build discipline and not let your inner bitch get the best of you. And I stand by that, absolutely. And I talked about how hard it was, and this is the perfect example of that. This shit's hard sometimes, guys. Even the simplest things, vacuuming, cleaning your house, unpacking boxes, throwing stuff in the garbage, whatever it is. Sometimes shit just gets the best of you. Okay? And the lesson here, I get, I said that before, I didn't really give a lesson. The lesson here is to not let it get you down permanently. Now, I have no ending to this story as far as I got my ass up and I did this for the day, so I considered it a little bit of a win and I'm now on the right path. I'm not. This day kicked my ass. My inner bitch beat the shit out of me up and down the court. And I got to try to get better tomorrow. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to let it beat me forever. I'm not going to wake up tomorrow and be like, it's already a waste of weekend. I might as well just finish strong and watch TV all day. I have shit to do. I got to do a training run. By the time you listen to this, hopefully I'll have my training run done. I say hopefully. I'm going to get it done. I'm getting it done. That's it. You can hold me accountable to that. I have a training run to do between 5 and 7 miles. I got to get done. So if you listen to this, text me, DM me, leave a comment on the YouTubes, hit the hotline 202-670-1114, and ask me, hey, did you get your run in? The answer is going to be yes, but hold me accountable because I got shit to do and I can't let my inner bitch continue to win. And you guys shouldn't either. But it's absolutely normal that you got these voices in your head pushing you away from getting shit done. Okay? We've all been there. So don't let people on the internets or celebrities or anybody on TV tell you otherwise. Okay? Nobody's life is ever perfect like that. These people are not living super success every second of the day. They have the same issues and stressors and little voices in their heads trying to knock them down and make them lazy as all of us do. And guess what? I promise you, they're letting those little voices in their head, those inner bitches, win every once in a while too. Okay? But it doesn't mean they have to win all the time. All right? So, and I have to be better too. We're all going to be better. We're going to hold each other accountable. And that's really the moral of this story here. We're all human beings, guys. Okay? I can't say this enough because I've seen this a lot lately on social media. All these fake, perfect people. You see it in every community. You see it, with movie stars. You see it with entrepreneurs faking that they're successful and that they don't have any stress and they're always winning. You see it in the fitness community with people photoshopping their photos saying, I'm all natural. You could be like me if you just work hard, when they're lying to your teeth, to their teeth about it, through their teeth. Hello. You see all this fake stuff and it puts these false narratives in our heads thinking like, well, if I fail one day, I'm never going to, I'm going to be a failure forever. These guys have it all dialed in all the time. I'm never going to be like that. And you just give up before you start. I'm here to tell you that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Everybody goes through these days. We all have the little bitch inside us, our inner bitch, fighting back, trying to get in our ear, rent space in our heads, and sometimes they win the round. Okay, and that bitch won the round today for me, but not tomorrow. That's for goddamn sure. And I hope you guys can take this and forgive yourselves a little bit. Look yourselves in the mirror sometimes and forgive yourselves for letting your inner bitch win and vowing to not let it happen the next day. Okay? This is a marathon, folks. Life is a marathon. There's a lot of miles to go. And you might get knocked down 1 mile, but don't let it beat you up and beat you down for the rest of the race. So that's all I have to say about that today, guys. Yeah. We'll end on a high note, though. We'll talk about something very important to me, something I've been preaching for a long time now and practicing as often as I can throughout the day. And that's the big three. And for all of you new folks out there, it's the 3 pillars to staying strong and being a better, happier, kinder, healthier, more genuine human being and a better leader overall in life. Number 1, exercise every day. Do something each day to improve your health and wellness and fitness levels, either physically, mentally, or emotionally. So whether it's a full workout, going for a walk after a meal, or a run, or reading a book, learning a new skill, meditating, doing a crossword, breaking a mental sweat, meditating for the soul, doing breath work, praying. Do one thing every day to work yourself out and get exercise in physically, mentally, or emotionally. Number 2, by the way, the benefits of exercise in all those forms is unbelievable. I keep reading new statistics and information on this day in and day out. It's unbelievable the beneficial effects that exercising has on our bodies, our minds, and our souls. I can't stress it enough. I can talk about that for all day here. I'm not going to. If you want to talk with me more about it, hit me up directly and we can talk more about it. But it's unbelievable the positive effects that exercise physically, mentally, emotionally will have on you. So get to it. Number 2, the hardest one to do is don't be a shitty person, be a kind person. And it's hard because we are constantly flooded with negativity and shit in our lives, especially on the internets, on social medias, and on our phone, right there in front of our stupid faces. We got the news pushing doom and gloom on us. You got Instagram people throwing hate people on Facebook and the Twitter are doing it as well. It's everywhere. It's right there on our fingertips. As soon as we open up our social media profiles, it's shit, negativity, and garbage. And you see something you don't like from somebody else, and you get all emotionally charged up, and you want to just fire off that message to take that jab at them, even if you think they deserve it. Hey, you're a piece of shit, and here's why, blah, blah, blah. And you just, it's hard. I get it. I almost did it again today. I saw somebody posted on their Instagram, and it was such a stupid comment and grossly uneducated and ignorant and just childish and immature. And I was like, I really want to say something, but it's going to do no good. Okay. All you're doing, first of all, by you responding, you're letting that negativity inner bitch inside you win. You're letting that little voice of negativity inside you win. And you're putting yourself in those situations more and more often because of that. And when you live in the negativity of it all, your life spirals down into a depressive, stressful, anxiety-ridden state where you're just living in constant negative. So just by the simple act of not responding and removing yourself from that situation altogether, detach from your emotions in that moment and just don't respond and omit yourself. Just leave the situation. Put your phone down, go for a walk, do whatever. You're minimizing the negative shit going on in the ether. Just by you not adding to it, you're already taking it away and you're helping other people out by doing that. And 2, there you go, bud. 2, you're allowing your mental state and yourself overall the free space, the free, rental space inside your head to go focus that on more positive, productive things in your lives. Because now you have the time and the ability to do that. You're not spending it shit-talking somebody on the internet or posting some political soapbox manifesto or whatever it might be. You now have the time and the emotional mental space and freedom to go focus on something more positive and productive. And if you do that, you'll feel better about yourself, okay? And you won't be constantly living in a state of negativity and a state of shit. All right, number 3, the most important one, be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. And if you actively think about at least one good thing that's in your life right now, and think about what your life would be like without that, that will immediately put you in a state of gratitude, and it changes your brain frequency into a more positive, positive channel, if you will. Okay? And the more and more you do that throughout the day, the more times your mindset is going to be in that state of gratitude. So it's going to change your muscle memory to automatically thinking positively and being grateful for good things in your lives as opposed to taking them for granted. Okay? This is all lifestyle changing. You couple that with not being a shitty person, and you couple that with exercising every day. You do all that stuff, all 3 of the big 3 every day, a little bit more and more each day. Your entire day is going to be filled with health and wellness and positivity and good tidings to all. Okay? If you follow the big 3, I promise you'll be a better, happier, kinder, healthier, more genuine human being and a better leader overall in your lives. And you'll be spreading that positivity and goodness throughout the world. So that's all I got today, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share with your friends and enemies so that they can like and subscribe and do the post notifications and comment on the videos and chime in and hit the hotline 202-670-1114 with your questions and comments and jokes and what have yous. And we'll have a grand old time doing it. Do all that stuff, and we can spread the good word of the LPDS to the masses. So thank you guys again. I love you all. Stay strong.